tetapi dari segi perjuangan MNC ini, terutama untuk mengidentifikkan masyarakat kita, saya boleh katakan saya antara sebahagian rakan yang telah membudayakan penggunaan memogun apabila berucap untuk mengkategorikan ataupun mendefinisikan masyarakat anak negeri kita di Sabah ini. Semalam saya bersama-sama dengan Dewan Perniagaan dan Perindustrian Kadazan Dusun Sabah, dan saya juga telah menggunakan istilah memogun dalam keseluruhan ucapan saya apabila merujuk kepada komuniti masyarakat Kadazan Dusun Murut Tepinai Kungawi. First of all, on behalf of Yang Amat Berhormat Datuk Seri Panglima Muhammad Syafiee Apdal, the Chief Minister of Sabah, I would like to thank Memogun National Congress or MNC in the organizing committee for this second installation in oath-taking ceremony, for inviting him to grace tonight's occasion. Unfortunately, due to other commitments, he is not able to be here with us tonight, and he has asked me to send his apology. I would also like to extend my congratulations to MNC for successfully organizing this event, and to all those who have been elected or appointed as members of the Supreme Council of MNC for 2019-2020. I note that the MNC Supreme Council for this term comprises of members who are very influential in our community, with many of them are former politicians, serving in retired senior government offices, corporate figures, and members of the academia. I have no doubt that given the combined expertise in the experiences of these Supreme Council members, they will be able to bring the organization to a great heights. Ladies and gentlemen, as we all know, there are many NGOs in Sabah that are formed by its indigenous community. But you may also notice that the principal objectives of most of these NGOs are on the preservation and promotion of their respective culture and traditions. While this is applauded, an equally important area of concerns that the indigenous community should address itself is in the betterment of their economic status. Indeed, if you were to dwell into the economic statistic of Sabah, you will invariably find that as a group, the Dusunik, Murutik, and Paitanik communities occupy the lower rung of the economic ladder. I believe that MNC has an important role to play in this respect. The importance of raising the economic status of Sabah indigenous community is not lost to the government, both at state and federal level. So too is the need for it to be proactive in these regards. It is a human right issue as much as it is an ethical issue. It is also an issue that has to be righted in order to maintain long-term political stability in Sabah. I have been informed that the core objectives of MNC is to uplift the economic status of the indigenous community in Sabah, largely through self-help in leveraging on whatever government assistance that are being made available to the indigenous community. It is guided in its efforts by its Memogun Economic Transformation Agenda, a roadmap which was specifically formulated to maximize the development outcome from the judicious utilization of limited resources of the indigenous people. We seldom find an NGO like MNC that has formulated for itself a guide to help it plan its actions for the future. This guide, known in short terms as META, helps it to translate its mission and vision into something that is concrete. Further, it gives a strong and tangible sense of purpose that can bind and encourage its member together to pool their efforts and resources to attain a common goal. I applaud MNC for its noble missions, its META, and its strong desire to see it done. I might also add that MNC has found a role in huge task of bringing about economic development to the indigenous community. It provides the leadership at the grassroots level to get people to act together for their common good. More than that, it sees itself as the strategic partner of the government in making the indigenous community forge ahead to claim their rightful share under the Malaysian sun. In this connection, I would like to suggest that MNC get itself actively involved in providing inputs in the formulations of Sabah development plans, programs, and projects to ensure that the specific needs of the indigenous community are adequately looked into. In addition, it should study and analyze existing rural development programs and projects with a view to ensure that they effectively address the specific requirements of the indigenous communities. Ladies and gentlemen, poverty and its alleviations remain the principal concerns of the Sabah government. Although Sabah's per capita gross domestic product over the years have shown tremendous improvement, this is not reflected wholly among the rural populations, especially those residing in the hinterlands of Sabah, where most of the indigenous communities are found. Given government's limited resources, in the vastness of the geographical spread of the indigenous communities, it is necessary for it to find new and innovative ways to effectively reach out to these communities. Innovations is today's buzzword. Indeed, a very big word. In this respect, I would like to think that this word does not only apply to government development programs and projects, but also for the government to actively seek out partnerships with development-oriented NGOs to bring about the desired development outcome. In calling for MNC to be actively involved with the governments in these regards is an approach that can be considered as something new, indeed something innovative on the part of the Sabah government. I would also like to draw our attentions that times are changing and development challenges are getting more complicated. Poverty eradication is no longer a question of providing people with any employment, but employment that cannot be substituted by artificial intelligence and robots. Invariably, a majority of these new employment opportunities will require high knowledge and skills. I am talking about the Industrial Revolution 4 or IR4. This is something that is very important for the future well-being of our country and its people. As many of you are aware, the government is conscious of this matter and is already incorporating the new ways of doing things. This IR4 in its education and manpower training programs. However, it is likely that given their present dispositions, the rural communities will benefit the least from these initiatives unless they come forward and be counted. This is we MNC can help by bringing about awareness of these new challenges to the rural communities and to make them have a resilient and more importantly, a competitive mindset. Ladies and gentlemen, the sustainability of any organization largely depends on its funding. Most NGOs depends on public donations for survival. The number and intensity of its yearly program is dictated by the amount of fund that it can collect in that year. I believe that for NGOs to be sustainable, it has to generate its own fund through business ventures. I would personally support any initiative in this direction. In fact, before any NGO is set up, its prospective members should have a plan for commercial undertakings to generate its fund requirements. I'm glad to note that MNC is conscious of this fact and that as part and parcel of its quest for sustainability, it has embarked on a couple of businesses.